everyone, and welcome back. You ready to dive into another deep dive?
Always.
All right, today we are looking at a source
Oh,
all about manifesting 10 times faster.
10 times faster.
Yeah, using the law of assumption. And now, before you think, this is just about wishing and hoping, let me tell you.
Yeah.
This is about getting results.
Okay.
So the source that we are exploring today claims, you ready for this one?
Yeah.
You already possess everything you desire.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
We'll be unpacking that mind-bending concept today and even touch upon parallel realities.
Okay.
So get ready for a wild ride.
Sounds good. What I find so exciting about this source is it encourages us to think of the law of assumption as like a code to be cracked, like a blueprint to shape reality itself. And you know the best part?
What's that?
Is that we've actually been using the law of assumption all along.
Really?
Shaping our lives with our assumptions, both the ones we're aware of and the ones that are just kind of lurking in the background.
I am intrigued. So where do we even begin with cracking this code?
So the source is very clear. It all starts with having that crystal clear clarity about what you want.
Okay.
Think of it this way. You're using a GPS. And if you don't have a specific destination in mind,
Yeah.
you're not going to get where you want to go.
Right. Yeah, that makes total sense. And I've definitely been guilty of this myself, just setting these really vague goals. Like, I want to be successful, but like you said, what does successful even mean?
Exactly. The universe needs those precise coordinates to make things happen.
Okay.
So, think about it.
Yeah.
Do you want to climb the corporate ladder?
Yeah.
Start a creative business. Travel the world. The more specific you are, the better the universe can understand
Yeah.
and deliver.
All right, so we need to get laser focused on our desires.
Yeah.
But there's this whole idea that everything we want already exists in a parallel reality.
Yeah.
So how does that fit into the picture?
So that's where it gets really interesting. This source dives into this idea that you don't have to create what you desire from scratch.
Yeah.
Instead, you're aligning yourself with a version of reality where it already exists.
Whoa, okay, that's a total game changer. So if my desires already exist somewhere out there, how do I tap into that reality?
So the source calls this living from the end.
Living from the end.
And essentially, it's about feeling the satisfaction
Yeah.
of having your desire right now, not in some distant future.
Okay.
So imagine collapsing the timeline between where you are now and where you want to be. You're essentially bridging the gap between those two realities.
Okay, I'm trying to wrap my head around this. It sounds amazing, but what if my current reality feels miles away from my dream life?
Yeah.
Like I can't just pretend to have $1 million when my bank account's telling a very different story.
You've hit on a common misconception there. It's not about pretending or faking it. Think of it like this. If you're constantly focused on what you lack, that's exactly what your reality is going to reflect back to you. It's about shifting that internal state to one of abundance, even if the external circumstances haven't caught up yet.
So it's about embodying the feeling of having what I want,
Yes.
even if my bank account isn't overflowing just yet.
Precisely. You're assuming the feeling of your wish being fulfilled. It's like asking yourself, if I knew without a doubt
Yeah.
that my dream was already mine, how would that feel? How would I act? What would I be doing differently? Generating that feeling, that unwavering certainty, that's where the real magic lies.
That makes a lot of sense. It's not just wishful thinking. It's about aligning my energy with what I want to attract.
Exactly.
But if we're talking about aligning our energy, we have to address the elephant in the room,
What's that?
our inner dialogue.
Oh, yeah.
We all have that constant chatter in our heads, and sometimes it's not very supportive.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Most people don't realize how much their self-talk shapes their reality. It's like having a running commentary on your life. And if that commentary is filled with negativity and self-doubt, it's going to impact your ability to manifest your desires.
So how do we become more aware of that inner voice and start changing the script?
It all begins with paying attention, noticing those moments when doubt creeps in, and it starts whispering things like, "You're not good enough," or "You'll never be able to achieve that." Once you become aware of those negative thoughts, you can start consciously replacing them with positive affirmations.
It's almost like we're rewriting the narrative of our lives.
Yeah, the source calls it mental scripting.
Okay, mental scripting.
Imagine yourself as the director of your mental movie. You have the power to choose the scenes, the dialogue, the overall message. So instead of replaying those old tapes of self-doubt and limitation, you start creating a new story filled with possibility and abundance.
I love that analogy. So if I'm trying to manifest financial abundance, My mental script should be filled with affirmations like, I am a money magnet. Abundance flows to me effortlessly. Is that what we're talking about?
It's about feeding your mind with those positive and empowering statements that align with your desired reality. It might feel a little strange at first, but you're literally rewiring your brain by doing this.
Wow.
And you'll be surprised at how quickly your outer reality starts to reflect those inner shifts.
This is incredible. It's like taking control of our thoughts and using them as a tool to create the life we want, but I imagine this takes consistent effort.
You're absolutely right.
Right.
You can't just engage in positive self-talk for a day and expect miracles. It's an ongoing practice of aligning your thoughts and feelings with your desired reality. It's about consciously choosing thoughts that empower you and move you closer to your goals.
This makes so much sense. It's like we're laying the groundwork for our manifestations by shifting our internal world. But speaking of shifting, the source also talks about letting go of resistance.
Yes.
Can you explain what that means in the context of manifesting?
Absolutely. This is where things get really interesting. Forcing things to happen. That's not how the law of assumption works.
Okay.
It's about aligning with your desires and then surrendering to the process. You know, the source uses this brilliant analogy of ordering food at a restaurant.
Okay, I'm listening.
Imagine you've just ordered your favorite meal. You wouldn't harass the waiter every 5 minutes, demanding to know when your food is coming, right?
Right.
You trust that it's being prepared and that it will arrive at the perfect time. It's the same with manifesting.
I see what you mean. So how do I let go of that need to control every single detail?
It starts with detaching from the outcome. And this doesn't mean being indifferent to your desires. It just means trusting that the universe knows the perfect timing and the perfect way to bring them into your reality. When we obsess over the how and try to micromanage the process, we actually create resistance that blocks the very thing we're trying to attract.
That's so freeing. It's about trusting the process, letting go of that anxious energy. It reminds me of something I struggle with. What happens when things get tough? Like I'm trying to manifest something and then all these obstacles just pop up. How do I stay committed? How do I stay persistent when it feels like the universe is throwing these roadblocks in my way?
That's a great question. And the source has some fascinating insights into how we can reframe those challenges and setbacks. So we'll definitely dive into that in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay.
But for now, just remember that letting go of that resistance is key to allowing the universe to work its magic.
This is powerful stuff. I'm already starting to see how all these concepts fit together. We've got clarity, living from the end, mental scripting, and letting go of resistance. We'll be back in a flash to explore the power of persistence and tackle those doubts that try to creep in. Stay tuned.
You know, it's interesting how the source reframes challenges and setbacks. Instead of seeing them as failures, it suggests we might actually view those moments when things seem to be going wrong as signs that we're actually on the right track.
I think we've all been there, you know, you're working towards a goal and suddenly all these obstacles appear out of nowhere. And it can be really discouraging. It makes you question if this whole manifesting thing even works.
Yeah, it's easy to fall into that trap. But what if those challenges are actually tests?
Okay.
Tests of how badly you want something and if you're willing to persevere, even when things get tough.
So persistence is key. But what does that actually look like in real life? You know, it's easy to say don't give up. But how do you actually keep going when those doubts start to creep in?
Well, the source describes persistence as holding on to the feeling of having your desire, even when the outside world seems to contradict it.
Okay.
It's about waking up every day and choosing to live from that end result, regardless of what your current circumstances might be telling you.
Okay, that makes sense. But can you give me a concrete example?
Sure.
Let's say I'm trying to manifest financial abundance, but my bank account is still looking pretty slim.
Right.
How do I stay persistent in that situation?
So in that scenario, persistence means not letting your current bank balance dictate your inner state.
Okay.
You keep affirming, I'm financially abundant. Money flows to me effortlessly. You continue visualizing the life you desire, feeling the joy and security of financial freedom as if it's already yours. And you do this consistently, day after day, without wavering.
So it's about not letting those external circumstances shake my belief in my ability to manifest my desire. It's like those obstacles are just temporary illusions, and I need to see through them to the reality I'm creating.
Precisely. And this is where the source delves into something truly fascinating.
Okay.
This idea that there are unseen forces at play that are helping to bring our desires into being.
hold on. Are we talking about like a universal support system that's working behind the scenes to help us manifest?
That's one way to look at it. The universe is always working, orchestrating events, aligning circumstances to bring our desires to fruition. But the problem is, we often get so caught up in those day-to-day details that we forget to trust that something bigger is happening.
Okay, so it's like we're co-creating with the universe, but we need to trust that it's handling its part of the bargain.
Exactly. And that trust, or what the Source refers to as faith, isn't about blind hope. It's about that deep inner knowing that what you desire is already yours. It's on its way, and nothing can stop it.
This whole concept of unseen forces and having this unwavering faith, it's powerful, but it's also a little intimidating, you know? I mean, doubt is a natural part of being human, right? So how do we deal with those moments when we start to question if any of this is really working?
Doubt is inevitable. We all experience it. But the key is how we respond to it.
Okay.
Instead of letting that doubt take over, the Source encourages us to use it as an opportunity to strengthen our faith in the law of assumption.
So those moments of doubt can actually be a catalyst for deepening my belief and commitment to the process. It's like a test of my resolve.
That's a great way to look at it. Every time that doubt creeps in, it's a chance to reaffirm your belief that your desire is already fulfilled. It's an opportunity to choose faith over fear.
This is really resonating with me. It's like reframing doubt as a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. But what about those deeply ingrained beliefs that hold us back? You know, those thoughts like, I'm not good enough, or I don't deserve to be successful. Those kinds of thoughts feel almost impossible to shake sometimes.
You've hit on a crucial point there.
Yeah.
The Source really emphasizes the significant role of our subconscious mind in shaping our reality.
Oh,
it's like the operating system that's running in the background. It's influencing our thoughts, our beliefs, and our behaviors without us even realizing it.
So if our subconscious is filled with limiting beliefs, those beliefs will just keep showing up in our lives no matter how hard we try to manifest something different.
Unfortunately, that's often the case. But the good news is we can reprogram those subconscious beliefs to align with what we want to create.
Okay.
And it starts with becoming aware of those automatic thoughts and then consciously choosing to replace them with those positive affirmations.
It's like we're cleaning out those old mental files and installing new software that supports our desires.
Exactly. And the key to rewiring those subconscious beliefs is repetition. You have to consistently repeat those new empowering beliefs until they become the dominant programs that are running in the background.
Okay, so I need to be vigilant about catching those negative thoughts and replacing them with positive ones. It's like retraining my mind to believe in what I want to manifest.
Absolutely. And as you continue to work with those affirmations, you'll find that manifesting becomes more effortless. You'll start to notice things happening more easily with less resistance. But there's another powerful tool that the Source highlights that can help accelerate this manifestation process.
Okay.
Visualization.
We've touched on visualization before, but I'm eager to dive deeper into how it works and why it's so effective.
Visualizing your desires as already fulfilled isn't just wishful thinking or daydreaming.
Right.
It's actually a technique for rewiring our brains and aligning our energy with what we want to create.
Right.
And the fascinating thing is, our brains, they don't actually distinguish between a real experience and a vividly imagined one.
So when we visualize, our brains are essentially getting a sneak peek of our desired reality, and they start to believe that it's possible.
Exactly. And that's why visualization can be so powerful. It's like planting seeds in the fertile ground of our subconscious minds. But there's a key ingredient to making visualization truly effective.
What's that?
We have to feel it.
It's not just about seeing the images in our minds. It's about engaging our emotions and making it real on a visceral level.
You got it. The more we can immerse ourselves in the emotional state of our desired reality, the faster it will manifest. The Source encourages us to really step into those feelings as if our desire is already happening right now.
This is so fascinating. I'm starting to see how visualization can bridge the gap between our current reality and the reality we want to create. It's like we're giving our minds and our energy a taste of what's to come.
And the Source takes this concept even further by introducing this idea of embodiment.
Embodiment.
It's about taking all that we've learned, the clarity, the living from the end, the mental scripting, the letting go, and putting it into action.
Embodiment sounds powerful, but before we dive into that, let's take a quick moment to let all this information sink in. We'll be back in a flash to explore how we can embody our desires and accelerate our manifestations. Don't go anywhere. Right, we're back. And I am excited to explore this idea of embodiment.
Yeah.
It feels like taking all those mental and emotional tools you've been discussing and putting them into action in the real world.
You're exactly right. It's about becoming the version of ourselves who already has what we desire.
Okay.
Think of it as aligning our thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
our feelings,
Yeah.
and our actions
Mm.
with the reality we want to create.
So instead of waiting for the external world to change first, we start acting as if we've already achieved our goal. That feels a little counterintuitive, doesn't it?
It might seem that way at first, but think about it this way. If you're constantly waiting for external validation before you allow yourself to feel successful or abundant, you're giving your power away.
Okay.
Embodiment is about reclaiming that power.
Got it.
It's about asking yourself, if I already had this desire, how would I think, how would I feel, and how would I act?
So I need to identify the qualities and behaviors of my future self, the version of me who already has what I want,
Yes.
and start embodying those traits right now.
That's the key. Imagine stepping into the energy of that future self. How do they carry themselves? What are their daily habits and routines? What kind of energy do they radiate?
This is starting to click for me. It's not just about thinking positive thoughts. It's about embodying the very essence of the person I want to become.
You've got it. And when we embody our future selves, we become a magnet for our desires. We start to attract everything we want effortlessly because we're no longer operating from a place of lack or need.
Okay, I love this concept, but how do I actually put it into practice? It
Yeah.
still feels a bit abstract.
Sure.
What are some tangible steps I can take to start embodying my desires?
It starts with becoming aware of any thoughts, feelings, or behaviors that don't align with your future self. Let's say you want to manifest financial abundance, but you're constantly worried about money. That fear-based energy is contradicting the reality you're trying to create.
So it's about catching those limiting beliefs and
Yes.
consciously choosing to shift my energy. But what if those old patterns are really ingrained?
It takes time and effort to reprogram those deeply rooted patterns. But it's absolutely possible. Remember the mental scripting we talked about earlier?
Yeah.
Apply that same principle here. When you catch yourself thinking or acting from a place of lack, gently redirect your thoughts and actions towards abundance.
So if I find myself stressing about a bill I have to pay, I could pause, take a deep breath, and affirm. I am a powerful manifester. Abundance flows into my life effortlessly.
Exactly. It's about consistently choosing thoughts and actions
Yeah.
that align with your desired reality, even if your current circumstances haven't caught up yet.
I'm starting to see how all of this ties together. It's like we've been building this powerful manifesting toolkit. Throughout this whole deep dive, we've got clarity, living from the end, mental scripting, letting go of resistance, persistence, reprogramming our subconscious minds, and now embodiment.
And the beautiful thing is, even if you're not 100% convinced about the law of assumption, just experimenting with these techniques can create some really positive shifts in your life.
That's such an important point. There's nothing to lose by giving these ideas a try. You might be amazed at what you can manifest when you tap into your own power.
Remember, this is a journey, not a destination.
Yeah.
The more you play with these concepts, the more natural and effortless manifestation will become.
This has been such an incredible deep dive. I feel like I have a whole new perspective on manifesting and a toolbox full of techniques to help me create the life I desire.
It's been a pleasure exploring these ideas with you. And to all our amazing listeners out there, we encourage you to keep diving deeper into the law of assumption. Experiment, see what works for you, and watch in amazement as your reality starts to shift in incredible ways.
Until next time, keep manifesting, keep believing, and keep an eye out for those 10x faster results.